Hello, St. David staff. Wanted to present this information to you in person. It would be a lot easier in person, but because of our virus situation, I'm having to do it this way. And so I wanted to present some information about suicide prevention. A lot of you have had some of this information. You might have had some of it, not all of it, but we wanted to make sure you all had this information on suicide prevention for our students. So I'll be using the QPR Institute's training that I'm certified to train in, and show you some videos and things. I'll go through the PowerPoint presentation fairly quickly because you can stop it and view the slides, and I don't want you to have to sit in front of the computer for an hour for this. If we were in person, it'd be about an hour to an hour and a half training. But you will be certified after this, and if you have any questions, just email or text me, and I will also have a little booklet that will be in your boxes about this. So let me first share my screen with you for a little intro video.
Shows that the odds of surviving a heart attack in a public place are 10 times greater in regions where thousands of ordinary citizens are trained in CPR. It's called bystander rescue. When someone shows signs of experiencing cardiac arrest, the response of nearby friends, family, or coworkers is critical. The effective use of CPR doubles or triples one's chances of surviving a heart attack. Like CPR, QPR is an emergency intervention for someone experiencing a life-threatening crisis. QPR is easy to learn and easy to remember, but it takes courage to overcome our fears about reaching out to help someone who may be considering suicide. Research also shows that where QPR is widely taught, suicide attempts and deaths decrease. Just like CPR, QPR requires quick, bold, and informed action. Because suicide, like heart attacks, remains a rare event, we must train hundreds to save one, thousands to save hundreds, and millions to save thousands. There is an old Welsh saying, "No great misery goes unspoken." When we have a toothache, we tell people. We don't hide our pain. But because of the stigma and taboo around the word suicide, many people considering suicide don't speak plainly about their suffering. They fear our rejection. They fear that if they say something, we will ridicule them or make fun of them. As a result, people thinking about suicide often use indirect language. They hint at what they're thinking of doing. They send us coded messages, and they suffer in silence. Called suicide warning signs, QPR Training teaches you how to recognize these warning signs, quickly decode them, and then question the person in an informed and compassionate manner to learn if they are considering suicide. Just as talking about physical pain helps diminish it, talking about suicide with someone willing and able to listen reduces psychological pain almost immediately. Trained QPR gatekeepers are merchants of hope, and hope helps prevent suicide. Millions of people have now been trained in QPR. Rigorous independent research studies support QPR as effective, and thousands of personal stories assure us that QPR is saving lives. When you use QPR, not everyone will be suicidal. Some people are simply stressed to the breaking point, but they still need help you can give. Please note that you cannot put the idea of suicide into someone's mind. People are either thinking about suicide or they're not. The fear of putting the idea of suicide into someone's head is a myth that keeps us from acting when we should do just the opposite. QPR is a universal intervention for people in pain, whether they're thinking about suicide or not. While it takes a special courage to overcome our fears, we will teach you how to ask about suicide and to offer hope through listening. Listening is the power tool that restores hope in the hopeless. We know you can do this, and we will show you how. Preventing suicide. It's what people do.
Okay, so it's what we do at St. David. We are concerned about our students, their emotional well-being. We know that they can't learn when they are emotionally distraught, and so that's part of our mission. So I'm going to start now with the PowerPoint for this, and we'll go through this together. So I'm going to share that part too. Okay, so question, persuade, refer is the title of the program, as I said. There we go. It's not intended to be a form of treatment or counseling. It's intended to offer hope through positive action. There are several myths and facts about suicide. As they said in the video, you cannot put it into someone's head if you talk about it, if you use the word suicide. So I'll let you pause those and read through those if you would like to. Let's see. If a suicidal youth tells a friend, the friend will access help. That is often not the case. They usually don't tell an adult, and the friend that they tell usually does not tell an adult either. And we use the phrase, good friends don't keep deadly secrets, that if you have to lose a friendship but save a friend, then that is more desirable. And so we explain, and students that I have had to say, you know, I'm sorry, I have to say something about this. They have been appreciative, and they are mad at first sometimes, and then they understand why we needed to say something. Clues and warning signs, the more that we see, the more of these that we see, the more concerning it is. And we need to take all the signs seriously, even if we think, oh, they wouldn't really do this, or this isn't really serious. We need to take the signs seriously, just like if I saw someone with signs of a heart attack, and we could say, oh, it seems like indigestion, it might be fine, possibly, but we need to take it seriously and have them checked out. So strongest predictors are previous suicide attempt, current talk of suicide or making a plan, a strong wish to die or being preoccupied with death, thoughts or music or reading, or I've seen students write a lot about this, depression in the form of hopelessness or withdrawal, substance abuse or use, and recent attempt by a family member or a friend. In school, sometimes they say, or verbal cues that are direct. I've decided to kill myself. I wish I were dead. I'm going to commit suicide. I'm going to end it all. If such and such doesn't happen, I'll kill myself. If I don't get a certain grade, or if my boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't get back with me, if we broke up, things like that. Indirect or coded verbal cues. I'm tired of life. I just can't go on. My family would be better off without me. Who cares if I'm dead anyway? I just want out. I won't be around much longer. Sometimes they say, well, you won't have to worry about me much longer. You won't have to worry about me anymore. That's something you won't have to worry about. And so these are some coded messages. Then behavioral clues. A past suicide attempt, getting a gun or stockpiling pills, giving away prized possessions. So I have a necklace that my grandmother gave me that I always wear, that I really like, and someone admires it, and I say, okay, well, you can have it. And other people that are aware of how I feel about this necklace say, what? Why is she giving that away? She doesn't ever part with it. So things like that. Situational clues. Any of these situations can happen. It can happen to any of us, and some of us might say, okay, we'll just figure it out, we'll work it out. Someone who's dealing with anxiety or depression might say, this is overwhelming, I can't live like this. So any of these things, the diagnosis of a serious or terminal illness can be of themselves, the person, or another person close to them. Other youth-related clues are change in interaction with family or friends. So divorce situations, or moving away from friends, or friends have, a friend doesn't hang out with them anymore. Recent disappointment or rejection, sudden decline or improvement in academic performance. Physical symptoms, eating disturbances, changes in sleep patterns, any of those kind of things, increased apathy. So some of these things may seem like teenage normal things, but if more of these are happening, or you just feel like something's wrong, there's a change in this person's behavior, that can indicate a problem. So a young person might be reluctant. We need to still be persistent and continue to ask, are you sure there's not something wrong? Is there anything I can help you with? You seem to be down. And maybe they will not talk to us about it, but knowing that someone cares about them can stop them from the suicidal thoughts or the act. So we need to have plenty of time. If we are in the middle of class, between classes, we can say, okay, I can talk to you at this time. Can you come back at lunchtime? Can you come back after school? If you don't feel like they're in immediate danger, and then have those resources ready. That I've given you all cards with the texting number and the hotline on it, but if you don't have those, I can provide those resources again. And then the booklet that I'm going to give you that has a little card in the back of it that you can easily keep in your wallet or purse. Those things are good to have on hand in case they're needed. But remember, you're not the counselor. You're going to give them resources. You're going to watch for signs and problems, and then you're going to help the person get the help they need. So you'll refer them to a counselor. You'll go with them to a counselor. If you are really concerned, you can call 911 and say, I'm really concerned about what this person is saying. They could be emailing you or texting you or on Instagram or whatever, but you are concerned enough that you need to call 911 is fine too. And then remember, how you ask questions is less important than that you ask them, that it just needs to be done, it needs to be addressed. That has stopped people from helping other people because they're worried they might say the wrong thing. And we just need to do it. We just need to be brave, just like CPR. We just need to be confident and brave. And the more we do it, the easier it'll get. I've been a nurse for 12 years at the school, and it was really hard in the beginning. I worked with our school psychologist and did some training and talked to other counselors, and I feel much more comfortable now. So the more we do it, the more training we get, the easier it'll be for us. So a less direct approach: have you been unhappy lately? Have you been very unhappy lately, and so unhappy that you've been thinking about ending your life? Do you ever feel like you want to go to sleep and not wake up? So you will feel the right way to say things, and as you know your students, you will know what to say, and you just need to be brave enough to say that. So directly, you can actually say, do you feel like committing suicide? And if you really feel anxious about asking that question, you go to someone who you feel you can trust and who can ask that question. You say, I'm worried about this student. This is what they told me. Can you talk to them? And then, of course, myself or our principal are ones that you can ask for sure. But other people may be more comfortable too, and you know that. Or you ask the student, is there someone you would feel comfortable talking to? And so that person should be ready to ask the questions, the hard questions. Ways not to ask the question is, you're not thinking about suicide, are you? Or you're just kidding about killing yourself, right? Oh yeah, right. That's what I was thinking. You kind of lead the conversation that way, and it's a little bit of a judgmental statement, and then they will not open up to you. Be aware of your nonverbal cues to them, that you are interested, you care, and not that you are fearful. So in school settings, listen to the problem, give them your full attention. Suicide is a solution to a perceived insoluble problem. It's not a problem. So we're not looking at suicide as the issue. We're trying to figure out what is the issue and how can we help with that, what, the counselors that's needed. Don't rush to judgment about it. Let them talk and be able to be open and understanding with them, and offer hope that I know you see this as a really dark place you're in right now, but it won't be like this forever. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe they won't accept that at that time, but hopefully that you said that sticks in their brain and they can feel that later, if not at that time. You can also offer hope in the way of, let's go talk to a counselor. This will get better. We can work on it. Anything like that. So some things you can say: are you willing to talk to your counselor within the next 10 to 15 minutes? If they say yes, you'll say, will you promise me not to kill yourself between now and the time you talk to your school counselor? Saying those words sometimes has helped people. I have had students in that situation, and it actually does help. We have found that no harm contracts are not really helpful. We used to use those a lot, but having someone say, I will not hurt myself for the next little while. It's not very long because they can be impulsive. And then you monitor the time closely with them until they get to a counselor. And then, would you like me to tell your counselor? Would you, and then I talk to the parents too. Would you like to tell your parents? Would you like me to? Things like that. If you are concerned, if the student has said anything or showed any of these signs, we need to talk to administration, myself, or the principal, or a counselor. But we all need to be involved and be aware of these warning signs for students. Sometimes that a suicidal person, no, it's not going to help to talk to a counselor. No one can help me. This is too bad. This problem cannot be solved. It's overwhelming. So you may have to do more as far as stay with them and call a counselor to come to you or something like that. The best referral involves if you can go with them to see the counselor at the time. If we don't have a counselor, you bring them to me or to the principal, and we will, go from there, call a crisis evaluation team in. So, and the next best is when the student wants me to talk, or anyone to talk to the counselor first about it, and then they will talk to the counselor in the future, immediate future. And then if none of those things, then you will need to do something more of talk to the counselor and say, these are the things I'm concerned about. Note that you're not being disloyal or violating a trust when we're sharing a student's suicidality with a school counselor or administrative staff. I think you are aware of that. If a student is in danger to themselves or their others, that is not a confidential situation. We have to do something to help them. So for effective QPR, we say, I want you to live, I'm on your side, and we'll get through this. Communicate with the counselor, administration, myself, and get others involved. Is there other adults who you might feel comfortable with? So whoever it is, we kind of build a team of people around this person to help and be aware of their needs. And then maybe we join the team, that you're the one who took the person to the counselor, and you say, yeah, I'm willing to help this student as we go forward. And then we can follow up with a visit or a phone call, card, whatever feels right for us. And just them knowing how much we care and that we do care can help them at the time and in the future. And then remember, since almost all efforts to persuade a young person to live instead of attempt suicide will be met with agreement and relief, don't hesitate to get involved. You might be a little anxious, but it's important that we are helping these students that need our help. When you apply QPR, you plant the seeds of hope. Hope helps prevent youth suicide. Hope helps prevent any suicide, I would say. So that is the end of the PowerPoint. Let me stop sharing here. Then back to me. Hopefully that worked well for you. And I have had quite a bit of experience with students who have felt this way, and it does feel good to be able to offer hope and say, you can do this, we'll get through this together. I appreciate your time, and if you have any questions or anything at all, feel free to email me or call me. You all have my phone number, and have a good break and be safe at home.